everybody, it's Allison again, stlprostretch.com. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Just hit that subscribe button. It's really easy. Today we are going to be going over the fourth video for beginner stretch, and that would be adductors and abductors. And if you don't know what those are, your adductors are your inner thighs. They draw the feet together and draw the legs toward the midline of the body. And then your abductors are your hips. They would draw the legs away from the body. Just to make this a little easier, at least I think it's easier, but you may not. We're going to start with the standing version for the adductors and a seated version for the abductors, and then we will move on to some different versions from there. And you can pick and choose which one works for you. Okay? So let's come. You'll need a chair to sit in. And you might need some socks if you've got hardwood floors or gliders if you've got carpet, but you don't really need them. The first stretch will be just fine. So let's come to the mat. I have my chair out, and I've got it in front of me. I'm going to open up my feet to the side. My toes are pointing forward. So look at the outside edges of your feet. The outside edges of your feet should be parallel with each other and not the toes turned out like that. Actually, toes turned in just a little bit would probably be a little bit more effective. So we want the toes forward so that we get this gracilis muscle, which is the longest adductor muscle. It actually crosses the knee joint. And with the toes turned out, it becomes more of a medial hamstring thing. So just do that. Make sure your toes are turned in. And then you're going to kind of gently squeeze your inner thighs together. I've got my hands on the chair, my hips are sticking out at the back, and I'm going to bend one knee, lean, squeeze my inner thighs together as I come up, and then bend the other leg. And we just want to come down until you feel a stretch. And if you don't feel a stretch, that's fine. Think about just strengthening this. You can hang on to the chair or not. You may not need the chair, or just use it for balance. That's fine too. Back and forth. Just remember to keep that tension, the heels pulling together, the inner thighs pulling together the entire time that you're doing this stretch. So we want to feel the muscle lengthening and stretching, but also it's being taxed at the same time. It's strengthening. And then, after you feel a little warmed up, you might want to try option number 2. I'm going to back this chair up just a little bit. And you've seen me do this in some of the other videos. I've got my feet on the hardwood floor. If you're on carpet, you will need gliders or something slick. Maybe you have some really slick shoes. I'm going to let my feet slide open, and then I'm going to pull them together. So sliding open is the stretch, and then pulling together. And your feet might not go that far apart. That's fine. Just go as wide as you can and that you can still control it, and then pull back together again. If you can't pull back together again, slide out and maybe kind of slide back in like that. That's fine too. It's the out motion. We want to be able to control it and feel the muscle stretch at the same time and then pull back in. So this is a complicated one because you don't want to go out so far that you can't pull it back in again. You might want to try this on a pair of roller skates, but they don't roll side to side. So roller skates work better for the splits going back and forth that way. All right, and then let's move on to the abductor stretch. So I've got my chair. I'm going to sit in my chair and cross one ankle over the other. For some of you, this may already be a stretch. I know that because I have some clients. This is a problem, putting the shoes on and stuff. So just kind of hang out here until you get used to it. And then you're going to push this ankle into the thigh. You're going to push the ankle into the thigh, sit straight up and down as you do, and lean forward until you feel a stretch. Then keep pushing the ankle into the thigh and push back again. So we're just going to keep working forward and back. Chest out, butt back. That's it. Now, if you want to make this a functional exercise, this is kind of fun. Grab something you can hang on to. So you're going to lean forward, press the ankle into the thigh, and come up. And then sit back down again, leg crossed over. Just like that. May take a little practice. And then switch legs. So I'm crossing my right ankle over my left knee. I'm going to press the ankle into the thigh, push, lean forward, chest out, hips back, push, and come back again. You may notice one side is tighter than the other. This is very normal. And then push and see if you might need to bring your left foot forward a little bit. Push and rise. And then sit back. Let it go again. So this would be a lot more advanced, and actually that would be the next stretch that I would teach after you master this one, is a standing version. So I'm standing, I've got my chair here for balance. Got my ankle crossed over, press the ankle into the thigh, push the hips back, chest comes forward, bend down until you feel a stretch, and then use this left ankle to push into the thigh to rise back up again. So that's the second one that I would try, and that's only from my experience in classes. Usually people have an easier time with this one than they do the supine version, which we will get into next. So again, cross, press the ankle into the thigh, stick your butt out, chest comes forward, come down until you feel a stretch. I'm bending this standing leg and coming back up again. You may feel some tightness on the outside of your hips as you're doing this. And that would be your TFL. So we're going to address that now. This is an easy TFL stretch, and most people can do it. I've got my right foot forward. I'm going to lean back with my hands. I'm going to take them behind me. I'm going to cross my left ankle over my right knee. I'm going to take my right knee out to the side and push my knee toward my ankle. You can see there's not a lot of movement there. That's okay. Just feel out the stretch. This one might take a lot of repetition. You can bring the foot closer to you. You might feel more stretch that way. Or you can bring the foot farther away from you. And I always feel more stretch that way. So it really varies on person to person, which one's going to end up giving them more stretch. And we'll switch sides. So left foot's forward, right ankle crosses over. I'm going to take this knee out to the side, and then I'm going to push the right knee down toward the ankle. As you can see, I do not have a lot of movement here, especially today. Just feeling kind of stiff in my hips today. And then from there, you could move on to the supine version of this stretch. The supine, meaning lying on your back, face up. Got my head on some blankets. You probably don't need a blanket if you don't want to use them. And I've got my left ankle crossed over my right knee. I'm going to lift both legs. I'm going to take my left hand through the hole and slide it on the back side of the right thigh. Not everybody can do this, so that's why I started off with the other ones. I'm going to push my left ankle into my right thigh until my whole body comes forward. I'm going to keep pushing the ankle into the thigh and then pull back. Push and pull. So that'd be option number 3 for your abductors, your hips. I know, it's a lot of options. I probably shouldn't have given you so many for a beginner stretch video, but I want you to choose the exercise that works best for you. And then we'll switch sides so that right ankle crosses over left knee. Ankle is pushing out into the knee. My hands go around the back of the left thigh. Push the ankle into the thigh, and then let the whole upper body come along for the ride. This is not an abdominal exercise. I'm not pulling forward. I'm just letting my arms straighten out and my upper back get a passive stretch. So I'm going to keep pressing the right ankle into the left thigh and then pull back into the stretch. Forward and back. And then for the supine version of the adductor stretch, I've got my feet up. And this is another reason that I left this one for last, because not everybody can stretch their feet up in a straight leg. You can bend your knees for this one, that's okay. Open the thighs, place your hands on the inside of the thighs, and then push the hands open as the feet come together. And keep pushing the feet together, let the arms win, and then open up into your stretch. So that is your supine adductor stretch. I actually have one more adductor stretch for you. There are two more. But I'm only going to do one today. This is a really great stretch. It really is. And you can do that one with your feet and your hips up against a wall too. That's another option for you. So the last stretch we're going to do is a kneeling stretch. And I wanted to leave this one for last, although most people can do it if you can kneel. If you're not able to kneel, then stick with the others. So I'm on my left knee. I've got my right foot stretched out to the side. I'm pushing my right foot into the floor. I'm going to take my hands behind my head and kind of sway over to the right as I'm pushing my foot into the floor and then come back up again. I'm only going to do a few of these just to give you an idea of what this stretch is all about. And then we'll switch sides, kneeling on the opposite knee, and then stretch the left foot out. So pressing the left foot into the mat, lean to the left, push to come out of it. We could make this into a double stretch, lat stretch as well, but I'm going to leave that for another video. So lots of options today for your inner and outer thigh. These two stretches will go well together with the hip flexor and central hamstring stretch. So I think that's video number 1 in this series. So if you wanted to take 4 stretches a day, I would do these two, and then the central hamstring and the hip flexor stretch. Those would go well together, and that would probably take you about 20 minutes, I'm guessing, if you did all 4 of them. And be done with your stretching for the day. Anyway, I've got one more video to go, and it's on calves and chest. And that will be it for the beginner series until we hit upper body. So until then, happy stretching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Bye-bye.